And once you have your name and your email on the system, then you can you should use the option SureView. So on MEI, the system menu is important. Okay, when you come in, the system menu down here, right, is where we add people. We have some basic configurations like departments and job roles, and anything in the system menu is used by the other modules. Okay, each module, like nonconformance, has got its own configuration, which is specific to nonconformance. But the system menu down here, okay, this configuration section is common to all the modules. Okay, so it's very, very important. So when we start, if we wanted to put in a name down here, we come down, we add employee, okay, and I'm going to say Sujiman over here. So the first thing, employee or contractor, it's always an employee, okay. So I'm going to say Sojimon. What's the surname, Sujiman?
CY.
Do you want to spell it?
CY.
CY, is it? That's all. Sujiman C, is it? Okay. So the job title, this job title has to be configured already in the system menu under basic configurations, okay? So if I don't have the job titles there, I can't give you the right title. The site, we're going to come back to, but information on MEI, we can have multiple sites for any client. And at this stage, we're determining what site the user can see as well here, okay? So Belarus is a site in Denmark. Cork is a site in Ireland, okay? Dublin is also a site in Ireland. But if I wanted to go to give you full view, I could hit Leo Pharma, and Leo Pharma will give you visibility to the five sites that they have, okay? So this is just another way of limiting visibility for people. Departments is coming from basic configurations again, so I cannot add a department in this list. I can't type in new department. It doesn't work that way, so it has to be configured. And equally, my supervisor is important because when we go to send emails, especially under the corrective action, we send an email to the person who we select, like manager or reported by, reported to manager, for example. That's this person. And if we have the supervisor inside here, we can also copy the supervisor, because sometimes in companies, what we want to do is if somebody doesn't reply to an action on time, we notify the supervisor, and this is just how we know that, okay? The employment category is set up again, okay? It's a configuration. The employment start date is here, and it's not so important, but some of these fields are mandatory or not. I don't know which ones. Whoever's doing this basic configuration can hit save, and it'll put a red star like this next to the mandatory fields, okay? But at the moment, I can't remember which ones are mandatory or not. The staff number is important, okay? Because we update people based on their staff number. So when we come in and do updates, we look for the staff number and we update around that. An alternate staff number is not mandatory, I know that, okay? But it's just sometimes in a company, somebody joins in Chennai and then they're sent to New York for a year. In a big company, they'd have a staff number in Chennai, but when they went to New York as part of the same company, they'd be issued a separate staff number, okay? That's the reason why it's there, but we don't use it often. In this case, I'm going to put in your email. I don't know what it is, okay? Do you want to put it on the Skype chat, what your email is?
Yes.
Just put it on chat. Down here. Okay. Okay, Sujiman. Okay. So I'll put in that one for now, okay? You can change it later. Cost center isn't important again either, okay? Now the CY or the CHI, this one, the active, beg your pardon. If I wanted to delete you from the system, I would deselect this box and I move you into historical. So the difference between active and historical is this little tick box. So to delete anything, you'll see across MEI, audits, accidents, risk assessments. If you deselect this, it goes into historical. Now what actually happens is sometimes it will not let you make something historical if there's information associated with it. For example, configurations. If we configure a type of nonconformance as safety and environment, and we save nonconformances as, say, safety, type safety, and later you go back to the configuration to delete the configuration safety, it says this configuration is in use, you cannot do that. You will have to go and replace, okay, create a new configuration, replace safety with the new one, and then you can delete safety when safety is no longer used. over here, when you have a system, we have about 10,000, let's just say in a company there are 1,000 employees. If somebody has an accident, we want to have their basic details on the system, and that's all this is. It's basic details. But if we want somebody to go and be a user, then we just move over here. So in a company of 1,000 employees, not everybody will need to use the system. Maybe 50 will. So over here for those 50, we create a username. The convention we want to keep is over here. We have Sujiman C, okay, or Gallagher D. Okay, so I'm going normally for Dan Gallagher, we type in D Gallagher like that. All lowercase. D for my first name, the first letter of my first name, and then my surname. The problem with Sujiman C, I think, is I'd have only 3 letters, SCY, but I'll try it. It should accept that Sujiman, but normally we'd have S, Rayash or something like that. But I'm going to put in SCY. Is that the first letter of your first name and your surname? Is that it, Sujiman?
Yes.
Okay, now we give you a password, EHASOFT1. I'm going to repeat that, EHASOFT1. And over here I have to give you a security role, okay? Now the security role at the moment, I'll give you the administrator one, okay? That means you can change anything in the system. The other one at the other end of the spectrum, the bottom of the spectrum, is read only, okay? And that means you could go in and you can see some things, but you can't see other things, okay? So up here, if you have administrator and read only, it'll default to read only. Okay?
Dan?
Yeah?
Dan?
Yeah?
Please ask for Anush for the meeting.
If he's more than welcome to join. You know, he's more than welcome. But it's I'm just, Anosh probably knows how the non-conformance module works already, and I'll be going into that in a few minutes. That's what I'll be showing you today. But it's up to you. You can always watch the video later as well. I don't know. It just depends on what his workload is like. He's welcome, but if he has other things to do, he doesn't have to be here, okay?
Okay.
So it's up to him. Just to explain the security role, if you have this low-level role that's there, and if you have 2 roles, a low-level role and administrator, the overall one here defaults to administrator. For version 4, we want to tidy this up, okay? For some clients, they have up to 200 or 300 roles, and when you save it, it doesn't just show you the ones that are saved. You have to edit the list and you have to scroll down through 200 to see them. It's a disaster. This can be really made easier, okay? But just for now, I'm explaining the way it is. If I hit force password expiry the first time Sujiman logs in, he'd have to change his password. I'm not going to do that for now. So if I hit save, if I get no red asterisk says it's good, it's saved in on the system. If I'm looking for Sujiman on this list later, okay, so here's Sujiman. If I come in and I look for Sujiman or C, if I type enter, I search and enter, it'll create a new box for me. It'll go say, do you want to create a new one? I don't, okay? What you do is you hit the tab key. Type in CY, hit tab, okay? And it'll find you. It's also finding other names with C, CY there as well and stuff, okay? So coming down here, right, I can search basically the my user, and it's because I created a username and a password for Sujiman, he's a user, okay? The other, as I said, in a company, we might have 1,000 employees, and not everybody needs to be a user. We need the first tab completed, the basic details, but the second tab where we create a username and a password, we don't. They're the non-users, okay? We also have current. Current means the live system. If I delete Sujiman, and that's by deselecting the tick box active, and I was showing you that in the video a few minutes ago, when this says active, if I deselected that, if I didn't have the tick and I saved it, Sujiman would move from current into historical, and he'd appear in here. So that's just what those settings are there. My user, you have a username and a password. Current, you're currently live, okay? And if I put in the name and hit tab, it'll filter. So is there any questions just about that? Is it fairly okay, that part of the system? Yeah, is that part okay? Adding users, guys. Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'm just going to just say